I want to talk about Jorge for a minute. We have a Wednesday table. Anybody can come and share whatever they want to share. He came one day and said that he wanted to work for peace. He spent a little time talking about the organization. I was very excited to hear that. He called me 2 days later and said, I really need to talk to you. It was about 11:30. I was dressed to go to bed. And I said, okay, let's get together in a day or so. He said, I need to talk to you tonight. And I was hesitant to go over. I called a church member and she went over with me. And we talked with him. And I said, what's the urgency about here? He said, because the police have been going around to the homes of my friend and saying that they are looking for me because they have a warrant for my arrest. After a little discussion, and I'm pushing this pretty fast, we decided to go to the Justice of the Peace, where you turn yourself in. And when we got there wasn't a warrant. And we asked the sheriff about a warrant. And we asked everybody downtown. It didn't exist. So I said, why do you think they're doing this? He said, we published something in the Spanish paper, said that we want to build peace between street groups in the African American community and the Latino community. I said, well, good. I think that's a good idea. I want to get some clergy members to support that. He said, great. And we had a press conference, and he pushed that out. In this package you have is the actual peace agreement that came out of that discussion. And we had the 5%ers, the Crip, the Peru Bloods, the Peace Stone Black Nation, all in the basement of Genesis Baptist Church, discussing a way that we could bring these young people together, an alternative to this incarceration. And he, from that moment on, became a massive target of the Greensboro Police Department.
That's right.
And they eventually produced a warrant for him 16 days later. And they said that he had allowed a youngster to use his car who didn't have a license. 16 days later. And first of all, he said it wasn't his car, and he didn't give him permission to use the car. But they generated something that didn't exist before. And then almost every week or every month, they would arrest him, and I would get these calls, and they would have to get a lawyer, and they would have to spend bond money, and the newspapers carried this every day, gang leader, arrested. And once they arrested him and said that he had kidnapped a young girl, and the teenagers were having a lover's quarrel, and the young lady went with her boyfriend. He wasn't even there. And they actually put him in jail, put him on the bond, and said that he was part of kidnapping and forcing these things to happen. A lot of this stuff got thrown out of court. But let me just say that 18 felony charges were brought against him in Greensboro by the Greensboro Police Department without a single conviction. Now, it's not a charge brought against somebody else who said he told them to do it, which is the way the RICO Act works. It was against him. And when you cannot win a court in Greensboro with the prejudice against Latinos and against people who are defined as gang members, and the judge throws it out of court, you know you don't have it. But after all of these things, we met with the mayor, met with the city manager, met with the police chief. We now be in the pulpit forum, sitting down saying that this is ridiculous. You know, people are losing their jobs. They can't stay in their homes. They're being criminalized. They can't get jobs. And they have gone on the job and told people that it was illegal to hire them. And the man terminated them right there. So all of that, they were being bled dry. And now, we had to get money for homes and for food and for all of this, so we know there wasn't a criminal enterprise generating any money, because we know where the money was coming from. And I'm saying all of this, beloved, because this happened in our city, on our watch. This is not Florida. This is not some distant place. This is happening right in our face, and I want to suggest to you that perhaps every city has something like this. So when you say, I am Trayvon, every city has a Trayvon. And until we are able to come together as a community and stand in opposition to that, this kind of thing that Michael was talking about, where it just kind of happens in slow motion because it's necessary to demonize, and then you can take somebody and arrest them and nobody really responds. Because you have taken their humanity, reduced them to a roach, and make it appropriate to stomp them. And we are the audience. We are the audience. So, beloved, I am so glad that we have this conference. And I think all of the issues are connected. Mass incarceration, extraordinary rendition, what's happening to our Muslim brothers and sisters, all connected because we are connected. We are humanity. His humanity is my humanity. And we have to actually get this otherness out of ourselves. Because we bring some stuff in here. Because, and I just want to end by saying, I really don't want to end, but I'm going to end. That they got it up here in Farmville, Virginia now. They put you in lockdown. And here's the strategy. They arrested 14 people. And I've been to visit some of them, and other people in here have been to visit them. And what they are depending on, there is no bond. And one person is in jail because he wrote a check that bounced. That's the only thing they can get on him. He's charged with a RICO charge that has no bond to it. And the average white person in privileged community would never even end up in court with a charge like that. And now he is asked that you have to give us something. Because this man's life is finished. Jorge is done. That's what they told him. And that, tell us, he said, what story? They said, anyone you want to tell. So they've got people there with 20 and 30 years over their heads trying to break them so that they invent a story and say, this man told me to do that. When in point of fact, he actually put people out of the organization because they refused to go along with the policy of no drug use, no initiating violence, and there was one other thing that actually characterized the direction he was trying to take this. I think the moment is now for our city to come together and for our state to come together. We cannot allow extraordinary rendition. We cannot allow our citizens to be demonized, whether you're a citizen or not, and then criminalized and then tortured in these jails. We do have the power to come together. And actually, I want to appeal to us that we ought to, in our work together, get rid of some of our stuff. We've got to love each other a lot more. We've got to be there and nurture each other. And we've got to learn to be a little bit tolerant so that we don't walk away from a coalition as soon as we disagree with something. So, 2 suggestions. One, that this beautiful idea about a commission of inquiry, I want to raise a statewide truth and reconciliation commission with an international component, commission of inquiry, and a domestic component. They are 2 parts of the same struggle, same government, same oppression. And so we have to help the people see that. And I want to suggest that we write to the members of the Latin Kings. There's a table over here. Sister standing behind me. And let's get this thing moving now. And I'm excited that we're going to meet this afternoon. I hope y'all don't leave. So that we can circle the chairs. Because I'd like to read, if I make it this long, 10 years from now, that on a cloudy day in Greensboro, about 75 people came together. And they started something. My friend Jill is here. Came down from New York with the Truth Commission. She'll be around to be in these discussions. Thank you. God bless you.